Welcome to Socially Awkward with Evan Wecksell. I'm Evan Wecksell. This is a big one. We over the weekend we had the first Bon Jovi show in about 3 years, legitimate Bon Jovi show, and I have people that were there and they were my Facebook friends. So first, we're going to bring in my Socially Awkward Bon Jovi correspondent. That's her new title. So that's Michele from Jersey. But even more, I always like new blood. Welcome, Michele. But I wanted new blood. And thankfully, I got Traci Lynn to join me as well from Pittsburgh, I think. Is that right? All right.
Yep.
And they both, you can tell we're big fans because we already have the same cutout of John Bon Jovi in the background. Where did these come from? Michele?
Mine came from, first off, I'm going to apologize because I sound like a frog.
You should.
You can't get any better than this. This is fresh home from Nashville at 3:30 this morning after 30 hours in the car, of which I drove 27 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And I would do it again. It stunk, but I would do it again.
And you were, and for 1 hour, you were in the wrong car.
No, that was not me. That was the girl I was with that got in the wrong car.
She got in the wrong, but you didn't drive that car.
No, but it was, in her defense, it was the exact same car as mine.
Yeah.
Exact. So
good.
My cutout came from VIP in Savannah, Georgia, when he did Savannah, Georgia in 2022.
Right. And then Traci, where's your cutout from? Do you remember the story or?
It's from Miami. I won it at the pre-party.
This was a pre-party. Was this a prior trip?
It was a welcome party for a runaway trip, and I won him, and I had to creatively get him home on an airplane.
Was this a carry-on?
He was my carry-on. They let me fold him and put him up front by the pilot where the flight attendant sits. So I think they were a little afraid to say no to me. They were worried.
Nice.
Just a quick story too on me and Traci, because Traci and I know each other.
Yeah.
We had gone to an event a couple of years ago too, and they had the cutout, and I believe one of Traci's friends got the cutout. But we went through a DWI with the Bon Jovi cutout. Monmouth County Police Department were thrilled with us.
So you guys have been you've been on the same trips before, but you guys.
Yes, multiple.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so I guess like opening statements. I guess I'll start Traci. What stood out about this show or this trip? Like, how is it different than the others, or has it like what was your takeaway from being on this thing in Nashville?
Sure. So, going into this, and I really am typically a very optimistic person. I'm not that pessimist. There were a lot of things going on in my personal life. I'm getting a total knee replacement next Monday. And when rumors of this trip came out, I was petrified that it was going to be later in the month and I wasn't going to be able to go. I really, in my heart, believe that this trip really set the stage for whether it went well or it didn't go well, whether or not we would see him on a stage ever again. Yeah. So it's a really, really important, really emotional trip for me. I went into it very nervous, not for myself, but for him. I think we all know that those longer sustained notes, the vocal strain, and the things that he's been going through medically for the last several years, a lot of fatigue enervation, and was just really, really concerned. Our fan base really shared his concern about the overall health of his voice and, whether or not his tone quality and his longevity and his stamina would be back. So I feel like there was a lot riding on this trip for like not only the fans, but for him and for the band. So I think everybody was very nervous, but cautiously optimistic going into it. And it was just, I heard everybody in the crowd saying things like, he's back, he's back. I was very fortunate. I was front row, dead center. Wow. Better if I had the ability to do some video, do some photos. I'm sure you heard they did lock up our phones.
Yep.
And I'm sure, again, that was something cautionary on his part, wasn't sure how it was going to go and didn't want people leaking video and making commentary and stuff. And it actually allowed me to more emotionally connect without the phone.
Yeah.
So I was grateful for that. Obviously, I can't wait to see the pictures David Bergman took, but in a word, it was just incredible to me. Really emotionally connected with everything. You could see that he was really and truly putting forth every effort. He was in a great mood. Did a lot of things vocally to try to hold notes longer, I think to prove to himself and to prove to us that he could do it. Added on to the set list. I think the entire band kind of thought they were done. Bring up some audibles, bring up an extra list, and he played more songs after that. And you could see on Phil's face and on David's face, they were kind of shocked that he was willing to keep going and really had that stamina back. We didn't get the jump, but he had that stamina back that I think we all hoped and prayed for. And I just really thought it was amazing.
And that's awesome. And Michele, you similar kind of thing, or what else stood out to you?
I agree 110% with her. It was, as a longtime fan, and yes, a lot of people know me.
Right.
It was the most emotional Bon Jovi concert I've ever seen in my entire life, and I've been around since day one. I'm from Jersey. He didn't even talk until 10 shows in. So like Traci said, he had to show himself, which again, usually 2-3 songs in, he's like, how you guys doing? Okay. Or the Runaway crowd. Like I kept saying to the people I was with, 7 songs, 8 songs, 9 songs. Like it's and then the first time he talked was like, there was a skit that messed up. I'm right off track. I'm not sure which song it was, but he looked at Obi and was like, Obi made a mistake. And that was like the first time he said something. And then it kind of softened it a little bit. And then he went into a Q&A. I believe it was after Keep the Faith. And, went into Q&A. And again, like Traci said, he just kept looking at the band going, one more. And it was like, he didn't want to stop. And we loved it. You know what I mean? But he definitely did get emotional and say, it's not fair what happened in 2020. It's not fair what happened with his voice. It's not fair what happened in 2022. And that, it's not fair that we didn't get to tour for forever. It's not fair that I've been gone for 3 years. And he looked right at us and said, the last 3 years have sucked. And I've never seen him more emotional on stage ever, and we all know him pretty well, you guys. I mean, we all do. And it really was. And like Traci said too, I'm the one also with the phones and the podcasts and going live for everybody. And when we go on tour, we do play-by-plays. And we really did get to focus more on just him. Don't get me wrong. I think I reached for my phone 20 times because it's habit, but we really did get to watch him and just.
And then his shoe came untied. And I
didn't
going.
see that. I was in row 3 on the side.
No one wrote about this.
He's got this amazing vocal thing going on, and he's going to fall. So myself and the girl next to me, she's like, "Do you see that his shoe's untied?" I'm like, "His shoe's untied." So I'm trying to get some of his crew's attention. I got Phil's attention. I'm pointing down. So at one point during one of Phil's solos, he went behind David, tied his shoe, and came back, and we were all.
Nice.
But like to Michele's point, he talked about being angry with God. And, he didn't really understand it. And he doesn't really get that deep typically. Sometimes in an occasional TV interview, but never on stage like that. Like I really feel like his passion and the fear and his emotional battles with his health, everything was very raw. He said, I love every single one of you. Again, we know that he respects his fans and he appreciates our loyalty. He doesn't say that. Talked about in depth about how the band were his brothers and his family, and that the last 3 years they have been his safety net. That they've been at his house and they've sat with him and they've commiserated and they've practiced and they've tried things and just really got a lot more personal than he's ever, I think, gotten on stage anytime that in several hundred times I've seen him. I just don't ever remember seeing him that raw and that vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could only imagine. I think it was probably more meaningful that there were no phones at the show. But
100%.
I want to take you guys through like how the logistics of this all went down. Just curious, like night 1, night 2, and everything like this. So I think Michele, you were saying about 350 people on the trip.
350 people on the trip, and of course there were VIPs, which probably maybe 100, 150. So the place held 600 when I looked it up.
Oh, you mean where you saw the show?
Yes, the Marathon Music.
But you think on the Bon Jovi trip, like the 350 fans?
It was 350 people. I mean, the numbers went from 1 to 350 on our tags.
Okay, so where are you going first? Are you going straight to JBJ's Nash on the first night, or you have to check in at the hotel first?
Check in at the hotel first,
and then do they all send you to
in the afternoon?
Do they all send you to JBJ's Nash? You just do it, or you can do whatever.
No, we all checked in the afternoon upon arrival.
Yeah.
Everybody got their credentials. Everybody got.
There we go. Off there. Oh, your autograph. There you go. And then
a Yeti.
Ooh, very nice. Look at that. Oh, okay.
And it's a Yeti.
Yeah, there's all back stuff. Very nice.
They're beautiful. It's nice. It's beautiful. It's a nice size. Gave us our credentials, our little gifts. There was a raffle there that everybody could raffle for a guitar. You could pay to, partake in that.
Yeah.
Hello to everybody, of course. Rob was there. So we were welcomed by our amazing staff as always.
And how Phil X was hanging around, or was he just like walking around meeting people in the bar, or?
Yeah, he came up to the welcome party.
So the welcome party was at the bar.
Yes.
Okay. So welcome party's at the bar. So that's where Matt's there hanging out. Phil's there hanging out. And then Phil goes on first, or does Bad Medicine go on first?
Bad Medicine. Well, first we had the welcome party for 2 hours. It was.
So this is like just for you guys for 2 hours.
Yep.
Then is it that they let more people in after that welcome party or is it still a closed event for you guys night 1 for Bad Medicine?
Night 1, I'm not sure if people were allowed in from the public, but I know we were down there first. I mean, everybody was down there first. We had the tables down there in front of the stage. Like, I didn't have a problem getting around. Nobody had a problem getting around. I don't think, at least. Bad Medicine was amazing.
Okay, cool. I saw their first show in Long Island like 20 something years ago.
Steve Sage is awesome.
Yeah,
he's local to New Jersey and New York, like you said. He's awesome. And I know him personally. He's a great guy.
So fans got into it just as much because I think it's the first time we've ever had like a tribute band during a trip.
Yeah.
But but he was doing similar set to what you saw the next night, or was he throwing in curveballs? I know he did like Who Says You Can't Go Home. I don't know if John did that one, but like, were there other things he threw in like rarities, or was it pretty much your typical like Crossroads style set?
I think it was your typical Crossroads style set. Not really the newer songs, but
right
stuff that you get everybody going again and stuff like that.
But but you guys would like cheer him just as you would if it was a Bon Jovi show at the end of the song, or is it more of like a suspending of disbelief as you're watching something like this, like playing along as if it was Bon Jovi?
I think it hyped everybody up. Right?
It was like a pep rally.
Everybody excited. Yeah, okay. Got everybody excited.
Okay, cool. So he does his set, and they do their set, and then Phil X goes on after that.
Yeah, and Phil X did a bunch of covers.
Yeah, like AC/DC, I saw.
Yeah, Helter Skelter, all kinds of stuff.
And are you guys like allowed to stay at this bar like till like the early morning, or do they eventually kick everyone out and you're like, you got to go back to the hotel?
We'll have to like.
Yeah, we were able to stay till closed.
Oh, when did it close? When did things close in Nashville?
2.
Okay. Now my wheelhouse at these trips was like I would play guitar in the hotel after everything closed. Was this the kind of hotel? Could you do something like that? Were you guys hanging in the lobby? Pretty much, you guys were like half the people at the hotel at this weekend. You think?
Yeah. We a couple of us in our group had suites. So we didn't really hang out in the lobby. The JW, it's a beautiful lobby, but it's very choppy. They have small seating areas, so there would never have been enough room for all of us. So we just kind of partied floor to floor in a couple of the rooms where we had suites, and just really had a good time catching up with each other, reconnecting. It's been a long time for the band, but it's been just as long for a lot of us.
Mhm.
So, we do have some groups of us that see each
Yeah.
other socially outside of Jovi things.
Sure.
But a lot of us haven't seen each other since the last show or the last tour or the last fan club trip. So, we really enjoyed reconnecting with each other as well.
Wow. And so from all over the world. And then I guess Luca couldn't make it, but I saw a Luca face there.
Correct.
Yeah,
We
Lucas
had
had
Lucas
this
Head
one.
with us all the time.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
and he couldn't bring
And
it
that
to the
was
show.
great watching Lupa Bob throughout the crowd, I have to say.
Yeah.
Oh, you
We
can, like,
had him in
pass
the
it down.
elevator. He was everywhere. He made his rounds just like the rest of us.
Oh,
So
I'd bring 10 of them. I would just like scatter them
we
throughout
did.
the hotel.
We did. We had them everywhere. And DJ Dave, somebody made stickers of DJ Dave.
Oh, that's
They were
funny.
in the elevator bank. They were on
Yeah.
the floor. They were on the wall. He was all around too.
They're
so,
still floating around Nashville. I saw that this
Yes.
morning.
yeah, for sure.
So the only time like you guys didn't really have something scheduled was probably like Saturday morning, afternoonish. Like you guys kind
Oh,
of
hair appointments.
hair
Had to have
right?
blowouts.
Get
We
ready
had
for
hair
Saturday
appointments
night.
going. And we
Okay.
don't eat on show day because we're too nervous. We don't want to throw up on John Bon Jovi. So, yeah,
It's good. We're the
Yeah.
official intermittent fasting group of
exactly.
Nashville, Tennessee on a
Exactly.
Saturday.
Hoping to
Yeah.
drop that next 25 pounds in a couple hours. It's good.
Just pile up the hours. It's like, throwing another Yom Kippur.
That's it.
So
And then they took our watches, so we didn't know what time it was. So we didn't know when to
so you
stop
couldn't bring
that.
Apple Watches into the show.
Even
Correct,
phones,
but,
like we were officially
and
on
I
Bon Jovi
reminded all
time.
my Apple friends, but I had my Fitbit on.
Uh-huh.
It's literally like a 2000 Fitbit. They made myself and one of my friends take their Fitbits off as well.
Wow. Okay.
Oh wow, I didn't know.
I said it doesn't do anything but track my steps.
So when did you find out that it was that venue? Did you know that a few days in advance with the email, or did they tell you the day of? Or did you all have like a bus there? Did
I
you
don't
bus
know that
over
they
there?
ever officially said anything until they handed us the itinerary,
Wow.
which was at check-in.
Yeah.
So, we had our suspicions and we were hoping that's where it was because that's where a lot of the magics happened with most recent things that they've produced.
Oh, no way.
So, we were all pleasantly surprised, but it was rainy and, we're all worried about getting in and not getting wet. And there was pretty good process they had. They took us on like cabin cruiser type buses.
Oh, cool.
It was a couple miles away from the hotel.
That's
and
nice.
then kind of funneled us in numeric order until it was time to go into the show.
Did you have like a number for the whole weekend? Like you were fan number 70 or?
Yes, I was fan 13.
Okay. Michelle, what fan were you?
53.
Okay.
So I mean, again, in 350 people. I mean, listen.
Yeah, you
this
gotta
is worldwide,
just
you guys.
count
This
off.
is worldwide. You
Yeah,
gotta
number one was actually somebody that won a runaway trip on the last Miami trip that happened when John had COVID.
Right.
Oh,
So
I didn't even know that.
yeah, so the
Oh, they
first
did
two
run away.
people were this girl who is from New York. She's
Right.
from Long Island.
Yeah.
She won and then brought somebody with her.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was a double room. So they were both like 1 and 2. And then we had, friends all over the spectrum as far as what number we were.
So now they're shuttling you over.
There wasn't a bad place there wasn't a bad seat.
Yeah, it was a
such a
great
small
setup.
room. Yeah, there wasn't a bad place in that
from the time you get there to the time the show starts, like what can you feel the vibes of the crowd, or what were you guys talking about, you think, like as we were building up to when, because obviously no opening act, they're just going to come out and do their thing.
Right. Well, when we went to leave on the shuttle, they
Yeah.
were very clear that they were still sound checking. And they said, listen, like, you guys may sit on this bus for a little bit too. John runs this show. And if there's still any kind of sound check going on, even though there was like a lobby area, which is where they waited, they had us all wait.
Yeah.
They were very clear that if he wasn't done and cleared off the stage, that we may just stay on the bus.
Right.
But once they funneled us all in, you could just feel the energy. Like I said, it was nervous energy, but it was also exciting.
Yeah.
Again, like the line kind of snaked around. So, even if somebody had 70 numbers beyond you, you may have seen them because of the way the line went. So we were reconnecting with people and, oh, I love your outfit.
Yeah.
Where are you going to sit? Let's get excited. We
Yeah.
heard there's a bar in there, So there was a lot of really good energy happening right before they opened the doors and let us in groups.
Oh, so did they assign you numbers or just to let in, like, I know there were seats. but you were
Right.
like, but you could only go. If you were lucky enough to be in the first group of 10, you obviously would get in the front because you were front
Right.
center, or no?
Yeah, it was kind of weird how they did it. Like they
Yeah.
funneled us in, and I don't know how many were in each group, but like they took
Right.
the first X amount of people.
Right.
When we went in, Darren kind of funneled everybody to the left. Da da
Right.
da 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 da.
Yeah.
Well, by the time we got down to the end, there was no other seat. So he grabbed me and moved me up and set me here, and then funneled the rest of the people down the right side.
Oh wow.
So it was a little like I almost wish they would have kind of done, everybody wants to be front row center.
Sure.
So maybe the better way to do it would have been each row, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number
Yeah.
5, and
Yeah.
fan people out like that. So that number 1 and number 2 were the first 2 people dead center in front of that white mic.
Okay.
But obviously it worked out in my favor, which hardly ever happens in my whole life, not even just with Bon Jovi things. So
Right.
You deserve it, Tracy.
yeah, I was just absolutely thrilled to be where I was. And was a little worried about David Bergman climbing around. I felt like I was going to be in a lot of pictures, and I'm very self-conscious. So I was trying to just not look at him and focus on the show, but he's climbing behind David. He's behind Everett. He's over here. He's laying on the floor. So that was
taking
fun.
1,000 photos an hour of like everything and
Yeah,
anything.
I mean, that guy, I don't know how that guy doesn't weigh like 40 pounds because he's just
He's getting in his steps. He's using your Fitbit.
Yeah. Well, and it was great because at one point he climbed behind Tico and went like this right after one of the songs was over, and John, had turned around facing Tico to take a drink, and he looked at David and he went, and they were really having a lot of fun. Like you could just tell that he loosened up, even just from the first song to like the third song. He just got more and more and more confident and more comfortable. He was grabbing some notes and holding them longer than he would ever have traditionally held a note.
Right.
And like I said, I think he was trying to prove to us and prove to himself that he's back.
Yeah, because sometimes, I mean, in the last 5 years or so, maybe like he sometimes it looks like he's sometimes like strangling the mic, like the mic stands, like he's trying to pull more out of it.
Yes.
And
or he would get up on his tiptoes, kind of trying to make that reach.
It's probably just to get more air or something.
Yeah. And I really think that, he's been very open about the fact that since the surgery, he has had voice lessons every day.
Wow.
He's super committed to it. He's a perfectionist.
Wow.
And like we knew he wouldn't do it unless it was ready. He was ready and it was perfect.
Wow. I guess the big question is like, how does he feel like on Sunday? How do you feel, like even today, like so that he could, because I guess it's like we have here, I had the ticker, I put it up earlier. I made a ticker of the set list. So he had like Beautiful Drug opens up with, and it's pretty much he didn't really dig deep in the catalog here. He's playing like the things you've heard as singles over the years. And but Love's the Only Rule, I guess that was the big one.
Unbelievable.
It was
unbelievable.
It's my favorite song. I mean, I can't play it. I can do karaoke with it, but yeah.
I woke up singing that song. Like it's just, it's in my head again. It's just unbelievable. I mean,
I throwing like hallelujahs.
Words.
Like I remember when I saw him do it live, he like used like hallelujahs towards the end. Was that kind of like riffing? No, just straight off the CD.
No,
he's like hallelujah.
Okay. No, but he held like at the end. I mean,
yeah,
exactly like the CD. I mean, exactly.
Right.
I mean, it was he held those notes, and again, it's very obvious. Like Traci said, he was doing different things vocally. Wow. There's no doubt. I mean, and he has no secret about his vocal, training and helping him. You can absolutely see how much work and dedication that this man has put into everything. I mean, again, the words don't describe it. That's how I feel. Like it's just off the chart. Like the words are just unbelievable to be a part of it. Unbelievable.
Same, Traci. Same for you.
Yeah, the same. As soon as I could get to my phone, I still wanted to kind of like digest everything.
Yeah.
As soon as I got to my phone, the only thing I put is my heart is full. And that's kind of where I left it until I could sit with my own thoughts and kind of like replay everything in my own mind, because it goes so fast. You wait and you wait and you wait and you plan for these trips. Even in the scenarios before his vocal abilities were challenged, you waited forever for these trips, and it seemed like they were so far out, and then they're here, and then it's over. So I just, I wanted to sit with my thoughts a little bit. I didn't put anything verbose out there. I just wanted to leave it with my heart was full. That
Yeah.
was great.
Absolutely.
And
like
there
he
was
said, the
yeah,
way
go
he
ahead,
ended it,
Michelle.
we feel the same way. I mean, thank you for making us feel whole again. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the whole room felt that way. Like, we love you. No, we love you. You know, it was just nothing but love in that room. It was.
Do you think he was afraid to talk to you guys because we waited 10 songs? Like he was like just like nervous, you think, or just he just wanted to like bang out the songs, or he wasn't sure
I
what
think he wanted to see how he sounded and make sure that it was great.
Yeah, I think he wanted to save his voice for the music.
Right.
And when he talked, it was very raw. It was very emotional. It was very direct. At one point towards the end, before they played the additional songs, he turned around and Darren said from the side, like he kind of mouthed to me, "How was it?" And then John looked over. I don't know if he saw him saying that or what, but John looked down and I said, "Thank you," like that. And he went. Wow. And I just think it was really important to him to hear the screams and to hear the clapping and to hear the emotion from us, just like we needed to hear from him. It was a great exchange.
Yeah. I mean, I could imagine as a performer myself, like before you go on stage, especially with being me, like I'm like, barely known, but like you go on there, like the audience knows nothing about you and like you really don't exist to them until you're on stage. So I'm sure like he had a long wait and he's like, do I even like exist as much as a musician as I used to? Because I haven't been on the stage we saw him. He did like the short set when Forever came out at the bar. He did like something I think on like Martha's Vineyard or in like Massachusetts. So he did like a couple of songs, but yeah, this is like the first bona fide, like, yeah, this was a set list that he played. And then he had a Q&A. So Michelle, you got some dirt on not the dirt, but you got the lowdown what was revealed during the Q&A towards the end of the show.
Let me tell the tennis story.
Okay,
that was
tell
great.
the tennis story. Tell him. Apparently, he's moved on from Bob Kraft. He's now into tennis.
Yeah, he loves tennis. He told the tennis story, and he said, he was very excited to tell us. Like, got to tell you guys this. I love tennis. You guys know I love tennis, but like again, because we've seen him at the matches and stuff, and he said that he goes to tennis and he sees all the players and whatever, and they see him coming, and he feels like they're thinking, "Uh-oh, here he comes again." Yeah. And he's like, "No, you guys, you don't understand. I love
when he made the sign and he said, I'm a groupie. He goes, I chase them around like you guys chase me around.
That was awesome.
That was great.
Yeah. That was awesome. You guys, I get it. It was a great story. But the question was, I believe, who his favorite tennis players were. And I don't have.
Who did he say? Did he say like?
I have him written on my card. I don't have it right here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow.
I could see him saying like Andy Murray. That's my guess.
That doesn't reckon.
Novak Djokovic.
Maybe.
Carlos.
Sure. I don't have my card on me. I wrote it. I don't have my card on me.
I messed his name up.
Another quote. He also said that Forever will be re-released. He also said, and I'm looking away because I made notes. Forever will be re-released. Probably when the time's right, when he's vocally ready. He wants it released, and he wants it released now. He's ready, but they would want to coincide when and if the goal is to go back on the road. He did not confirm we are going. Nothing was confirmed that we are going, but he wants to go on the road. We are going at going on the road, and we are hopefully going on the road. So Forever will be re-released in coordination with hopefully going on the road. Do not know who, what, where, when, what time. We know nothing. That's all we know. Artists that will be featured on Forever. He said Def Leppard. He said Bruce Springsteen. He said Avril Lavigne, Robbie Williams, and Jelly Roll.
Do you want to guess what artist matches what songs? Do you want to get?
Yeah.
You want to?
Warren Treaty did a great collab with him. Lainey Wilson is going to be involved. He named a lot of great artists. He said he's kind of geeked out about Jelly Roll. He thinks he's a stellar human being, and he's done a lot with him. So I'm also a country music fan. which was lost on a lot of people on the Nashville trip, if you're not.
Yeah.
So a lot of the names that he mentioned were people that I love in that country world anyway. So I'm really excited for those.
Yeah, I'm guessing Springsteen for Legendary. What do you think? Think he's duetting? That's his duet. There you go. I do Killer Legendary on karaoke. I have a video out there somewhere.
I have to say that.
Yeah. And let's see. I'm trying to think what Jelly Roll could be on. Avril Lavigne, and just from the track list of that album. I don't know. Maybe Avril Lavigne living. I'd like to see Ed Sheeran on Living in Paradise because he wrote the song.
Yeah, that'd be a great duo. Yeah,
that'd be a great one. So, okay. So you guys go to the show's winding down, and then Michele, you ran into Tara, who helped conceive this bar project, where she's like, go back to the. Oh, is she frozen? Oh, she might be frozen.
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, John said, "Hey, you guys are going back to the bar after this, right?"
Right. And then Tara said,
we all kind of took that as a subliminal hint that he was going to be making an appearance.
Yeah.
So we did. We ran into Tara. She's just wonderful.
Yeah.
I had just been in Nashville 4 weeks prior for one of our Bon Jovi friends' 50th birthdays. So, we already told her we were going to be there, and she was just so accommodating. Her staff's great.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everyone, I mean, there was no really, where else would you go? The buses all took you guys back to the bar.
Right.
No one was going to knock.
So they bussed us back to the hotel. We were on our own to get to the bar.
Yeah.
So, we all kind of went in, freshened up. Some of us changed.
Oh, could you? How far is the bar from the hotel?
It was about 4 blocks, 4.5 blocks.
You could even walk it if you wanted to, I guess.
Yeah, we could, except for my bad knee. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Michele says it's a bad storm. We lost her connection.
Gosh.
I was going to share. So let me go share some of this from the bar. Let me see if I can get this. If I do a screen share, I don't want to lose you. No. Here, let me go back to this. We're going to try to share some footage from the bar. Let's see. So I'm going to share this. Let me see if I can. Oh, she's coming back. Now I got to bring Michele back in. Oh my gosh. I got to bring her in. She's right here. She's back. She's beating the storm. And now there's 4 of us. I'm sharing your Facebook now because I want to show you. This is the video I think you guys took. It's John at the bar. Yeah. It was like 2 minutes long. I didn't know it was 2 minutes. And then there's like some bands playing at the same time. Okay, so that was cool. I mean, he wasn't going to do. Well, I'm gonna turn that off. He wasn't gonna like do a meet and greet. I know that was like a sticking point for some people that maybe didn't want to go on the trip. There was no meet and greet. That was usually like a big thing, like photo ops. Did that make much of a difference for you guys being there, or it pretty much worked out well the way it was?
I mean, again, for me, initially I was like, wow, no phone, no picture. But for myself personally, I mentioned it earlier, I'm very self-conscious about my appearance.
Right.
I ruin every one of these trips for myself because I worry about the picture. Is my eye going to be closed? Is there going to be drool on my chin? Am I going to touch him the wrong way? So I get in my own head about these pictures, and I think I ruin it for myself because then I'm not enjoying.
Right.
So I actually felt more relaxed going into this, knowing I didn't have to worry about getting great pictures. I didn't have to worry about whether or not I was going to trip over his foot when I went up to get the photo.
Yeah.
It's kind of a joke with my friends because I personally cannot speak to John. I stand in front of him and I shake and I cry. And I believe at this point he thinks I'm a deaf mute because he talks to me like, "How are you?" And I realize it's because I don't think he thinks I can speak. And
have you ever had like a normal a normal comment to him? Have you ever like?
Yeah, I can't. I have amazing articulate conversations with him in my head, and as soon as they say, "Traci, it's your turn," and put me in front of him, I go blank. And Matt grabbed me in Miami and he said, "What is wrong with you?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, He's just a person.
Yeah.
And I went, you need to understand, Matt. I know he's your brother. I know that you grew up with him. You know that he does things that I don't think he does. In my mind, John doesn't poop. He doesn't leave the cap off the toothpaste. He doesn't leave the seat up. He doesn't have flatulence. Like, he's perfect. There's God. There's John Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
and then
he's a synth. He's a synth cyborg that just regenerates himself every day.
For 1 minute, I wouldn't rather be normal about it and be like, "Hello, John Bon Jovi." I would love that, because the amount of ridicule that I take for being unable to speak to him is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was actually probably one of the few that was happy without a picture.
Yeah.
And I was, like I said, I just went into this hoping that it went well and that this was a precursor for things to come, because if it didn't, I really in my heart felt like this was probably the last thing, and I never want that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm 58 and I've been following him since I was 14. So
oh my gosh. Wow. So that means you're like during like what, Power Station years? Is that how far back we're going?
So, I know Michele considers herself the OG because she's in Jersey. She was, closer to things that were happening. For me, I had a friend whose cousin worked at the power station.
No way.
When he cut one of his demo cassettes, he sent it to my friend and myself when
That's
I was working.
awesome.
Here that was. His last name was all one word. He still had an H in John, and he was doing radio station tours. Yeah. So I found out he was coming to Pittsburgh to a little nightclub about 10 minutes outside of downtown Pittsburgh. You had to be 21 to get in. I was 14. I paid my friend's brother $10 to drive me to this place and drop me off. I lied to my parents and told them I was going to study. And I told him to come back for me at 11 o'clock. And after he dropped me off with no cell phone and no game plan, I wondered how I was getting in. And there was a guy standing there with this big long duster on. And I said, if I give you $10, can I go inside under your coat? And he said, yep. Swooped me up under his coat, and in I went, and I was hooked ever since. So
did you get to meet him in the early years? Did you get to meet him? Like in the early
I got to shake his hand, and he stepped down and gave me like a little hug after he was done. Yeah. Darren, everybody in the organization knows the story, and they won't tell it to John. They want me to tell it, and I can't. So.
Just write it out. Just hand him a note.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'll just
send him a voice note.
Yeah,
give Matt like one of those Facebook audio notes, and he'll just forward it. Yeah. Wow. So it sounds like hopefully more good things to come. I wanted to see if there's anything else I wanted to. No, the only other thing I had here was that Michele, your friend, got locked in the bathroom also.
We bringing up the Michele got locked in the bathroom.
No, it wasn't you that got locked. Your friend.
I didn't do it. I didn't do any of this. I didn't go in the wrong car. I didn't go lock myself in the bathroom.
Okay. So
Lori's great though.
You traveled with an entertainer.
I heard. I'm stuck.
Well, I know that. I know in like some Hyatts, sometimes it locks and you can't like unlock. It's like a sliding bathroom door.
That's what it was.
It looks like that's what it was. You just couldn't pull it out.
She could. I think it went off track or something. I don't know.
To replace her on the trip. Yeah.
It was hysterical. It was hysterical. When she got in the wrong car, I finally hit the on the ground. Like I just couldn't breathe. It was that much laughter this weekend. Like there was just that much laughter among friends and such a good time. Like.
Yeah. And I think the only question we had in the group was about the Q&A, and we answered forever, I think.
Yeah, we answered.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so that was all good. Wow. So we got through a lot of that fast. I mean, where does this rank on, like, I guess we've been on a lot of trips over the years. If you could rank like top 5, top 3 trip, like where did this one, where would each of you guys place this trip over the years?
I would actually, for myself, I would say it was number 1, just because I feel like this was a game changer in either direction. Mm-hmm. And it's been so long, and, we were all hoping and praying that he felt as a perfectionist that it was as great as we wanted it to be and we expected it to be. So I would say for me, personally, this was my number 1 trip in all the years that I've been doing this.
What do you think, Michele? How high was this one for you?
It takes stance. It does, because it's also where we are today. You know what I mean? And just again, like Traci covered everything. I mean, where we are, we didn't know we were going to be here. And for me too, same thing. I went because what if it's over?
Yeah.
And I can't bear that. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to get upset, but we left, thank God, going, oh, thank you, God. Like he's doing well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And on the human aspect, I mean, he's genuinely in a good place. He's genuinely happy. It was wonderful to see him in such a great place because we all knew he was not in a good place. And,
Right.
you know, it was the unsung where we were all worried, but we all talked among ourselves, of course, but nobody's going to say it. You know what I mean? But we were all petrified. And again, as all of us who go back to when we were 14, 15 years old, you know, it's scary to think that he's not going to be here anymore. And none of us can imagine. I can't imagine my life without a Bon Jovi concert.
Right.
That's, you know, that I lived my life like that, you know. I just can't imagine. So I'm so relieved that
more than just chili cook-offs. I think that's where it comes at. We can't just only look forward to the chili cook-off.
I don't think he'll ever go away. You know what I mean? Like his humanitarian, all the things he does. I mean, but the singing, of course, I mean, it's John Bon Jovi. Like, of course we want him on that stage. You know what I mean? Like, and the thought of it without him on stage is just, you don't want to think about that. You just don't, you know. So I think we all left with a wonderful full heart and hope and faith that he's coming back.
Yeah. So yes, Runaway Tours did it right. Tara did it right for the bar.
Oh yeah.
Matt did it right for the team.
And thank you to all of them. I mean, they really they went above and beyond for every single fan member that was on that trip. Every single one of us got approached by them, thanked by them. Even after the bar was over, Matt was like using his phone at the bar, and it was like 2:00 in the morning Saturday when it was all over, and we went up to him, you know, for a group picture or whatever, and the first thing he said to us, "How was it? What do you think?" And I looked right at him, I said, "Matt, oh my God, love's the only," like, oh my God. And he went, "Yes." So again, got the feeling that he's going to go back to John and he's going to tell him everything that all of us said, and they want the feedback. And, you know, I think we're all in a great place right now.
Good. Couldn't be happier. I mean, this sounds like it's definitely worth it. And, you know, it's more to come. Can't wait for the next one.
I hope so. Definitely hope so.
Yeah. And it's nice after 3 years to be able to say more to come. So.
Oh my God. Yes.
Unlike the Avengers, we're going to go on forever. Yeah. We're going to just keep going.
That's right. We can't imagine.
All right. So I'm going to work on this, and I'm going to try to get this out to everyone the next
Sounds good.
hours.
They're telling me on my page they want it. So let's go. Are we off?
You want it? You want me to stop? I'll stop recording it right now if you want. Okay. Thank you guys for coming. You can still stick around, but I want to thank Traci Z / Traci Lynn, Michelle Bloom, the official Socially Awkward Bon Jovi correspondent. And they have the same Bon Jovi cutout in the background. It's the same dude. And hopefully they will get their ransom so that John can go home.
That's correct.
All right.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Evan, thank you. Of course, we have to have your podcast after all.